Hi, I'm Jennifer White, and you're watching the Redline Report powered by HireMaster. The U.S. Department of Transportation has awarded facilities in Florida and Tennessee a combined $37.6 million in competitive funding. The grant fund received will expand capacity for desperately needed truck parking. A $15 million expansion project on Interstate 4 between Tampa and Orlando, Florida, will create approximately 120 parking spaces, and a $22.6 million expansion project on Interstate 40 west of Nashville, Tennessee, will create approximately 125 parking spaces. Both projects are among a total of 26 projects receiving grant funds, which total up to $1.5 billion in competitive grants from the U.S. Department of Transportation's Infrastructure for Rebuilding America. Pete Buttigieg, the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, said, quote, "Today we are announcing transformative investments in our nation's roads, bridges, ports, and rail to improve the way Americans get around and help lower the cost of shipping goods. Using funding from President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure law, we are able to support more excellent community-led projects this year than ever before," end quote. The infrastructure law enacted by President Biden last year has increased the INFRA program by 50%. Right now, the law is projected to award approximately $8 billion for INFRA grants over the next 5 years. Wards Intelligence, a leading provider of automotive insights, reported Class 8 U.S. retail sales achieving its highest point for the year in August. In August, retail sales reached a total of 23,581, which surpassed the 2021 period by 29.7%. According to the report, Freightliner, a brand of Daimler Truck North America, competitively led the market with a jump of 47.2% in sales, which achieved a 41.5% market share. DTNA's Western Star brand sold 604 trucks, which was an 18.7% improvement and earned a 2.6% market share. Volvo Trucks North America, a Volvo Group brand, sold 2,243 trucks, equivalent to an increase of 88% in sales, and established a 9.5% market share. Volvo Group's Mack Trucks brand increased sales by 6.6%, selling 1,594 trucks, which established a 6.8% market share. Peterbilt Motors Company, a Packer Inc. brand, showed the third highest gain at 26.6% as sales increased to 3,298 for a 14% market share. Packer Kenworth Truck Company also notched a 14% share as sales increased 15.7%, selling 3,310 trucks. And lastly, International, a brand of Navistar Inc., reported a 4.1% decline in sales to 2,749 trucks sold, earning an 11.7% market share. Overall, year-to-date sales increased from 146,552 units to 156,275, a 6.6% increase. A potentially crippling strike between union railroad workers and 6 Class 1 railroad appears to have been averted last week as negotiators for the rails and for the rail unions came to an agreement that included concessions regarding work conditions, time off, on-call policies, and pay, among other issues. According to workers interviewed by Slate.com, many rail workers only receive 30 days off per year, no weekends, and they are expected to be on call 90% of the time with a 2-hour callback window. Many of those callbacks would lead to days away from home without notice. Workers would often go to work sick, miss holidays, miss funerals, as well as other family events without a significant pay raise in years. At the same time, many rail companies recorded record profits, including BNSF, which reported a net income of nearly $6 billion in 2021. The threat of strike finally brought both sides back to the table with the help of the White House to create an agreement that would provide a 24% wage increase over a 5-year period, retroactive to 2020. The tentative agreement also reportedly includes an immediate payout on average of $11,000 and other concessions for the rail workers, which was great news for many within the supply chain, including Chris Beard, the president of the American Trucking Association, who said, quote, "Our supply chain is entirely interdependent, making the potential for a national rail stoppage a serious threat to our nation's economic and national security. We applaud both sides for reaching a tentative agreement that averts this outcome and permits our supply chain to continue climbing out of this COVID-induced rut," end quote. If you watched last week's episode, we started a new segment called the Hire Master Tip of the Week. This segment is designed to help inform you about all things retention, recruiting, and trucking. This week's Hire Master Tip of the Week is to prioritize safety with culture to help boost driver retention and make sure every driver makes it home safely. It is important to emphasize the impact that drivers have when it comes to safety out on the road and how much their actions behind the wheel matter. Invest in compliance resources and coaching to set your drivers up for success from the beginning. Safety is not something to glance over or to be taken lightly, and drivers want to know that their company cares about not only their own safety, but also the safety of others on the road. In the news this week, it may sound like a broken record, but China has placed several cities, including Shanghai, back into lockdown due to an increase in COVID infections, which may disrupt cargo shipments headed for the U.S. China continues to pursue a zero COVID policy, triggering lockdowns when even one case of infection is detected. According to Ryan Clauser of Fourkites, this pattern may persist for quite a while, stating, quote, "We keep seeing lockdowns. Some are extreme lockdowns, some are lighter, and we're ebbing and flowing between higher ocean volume and lower ocean volume," end quote. Fourkites is one of many tracking solutions reporting a dip in imports and exports in conjunction with the lockdowns. And with China's, quote, Golden Week coming up in October, a slowdown in freight crossing the ocean is expected well into November, which, according to Mirko Vucic, Global Director of Intelligence Solutions at Everstream Analytics, could be a blessing in disguise. Quote, "Asia-U.S. cargo slowdowns could help ease congestion at crowded port terminals and warehouses, particularly on the U.S. West Coast. Disruptions to carrier schedules resulting from lockdowns can limit empty pickups," end quote. According to Evergreen, the economic fallout from this round of lockdowns may not be as significant as the first half of 2022. Also in the news this week, as many may know, last week, September 11th through the 17th, was National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. ATA President Chris Beard stated in an interview, quote, "Every day, our country's 3.7 million truck drivers deliver America's freight safely, securely, and efficiently. They are the glue that keeps our economy and nation together," end quote. National Truck Driver Appreciation Week allows the trucking and transportation industry the chance to recognize the hard work, time, and effort that professional truck drivers put in every single day, including the fact that 80% of American cities or towns rely on trucks alone to deliver their goods. ATA celebrated National Truck Driver Appreciation Week with cookouts and recognition from many different drivers throughout the country. If you didn't get a chance to say thank you to a truck driver last week, remember, it's always a good time to say thank you to a truck driver. And that's all for this week's Redline Report. I'm Jennifer White. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch each episode, and leave us a like and a comment. We'll see you next time on the Redline Report, powered by HireMaster.